to the 63rd Annual Convocation of Claremont-McKenna College. It's my pleasure to officially open this academic year. I want to thank all of the students returning in the upper classes, our new freshmen, our new transfer students, and our new Master of Finance program students. Welcome, and we are very much looking forward to being your partners this academic year. I want to welcome the faculty. Thank you. A warm welcome for all of the new members of our community. It is such a pleasure to have you join this fine community. I want to thank all of the administration of the college for, as always, your generosity and the good work that you do for this community. So, a warm thank you. Father Fenton, thank you for that very fine invocation. A few opening remarks, and then it is going to be my pleasure to recognize a number of wonderful people for their long service to the college. I came to Claremont-McKenna College 10 years ago, and shortly before I arrived, I'll never forget, there was a senior distinguished member of the faculty who asked me the following question. Have you ever seen an institution or the constituents of an institution of higher education speak so often about its mission? Well, that was an interesting question, and I thought about it, and it was a very easy answer. I said no. I had never experienced anything like being around here and the frequent references to the mission of Claremont-McKenna College. Then, of course, there were the follow-up questions. Was that a good thing in reality or not? Or why was it so at this college as opposed to other fine institutions of higher education? If I were asked that question again today, it would similarly be, no, I'm not aware in my personal experience of any institution that calls back to its founding mission and ongoing mission, which really hasn't changed since its founding in 1946. So this question reminds me of another important part of my personal life, which is tied to businessman and philanthropist James B. Duke. I came to CMC from Duke University. It was a young university too. It was founded in its present form in the 1920s, the very same time period as Scripps College and the Claremont Graduate University. And it too was founded out of a liberal arts college called Trinity College. It was named by its founder, James B. Duke, which at one time had a total monopoly power over American and British tobacco. Of course, this was before the antitrust laws. Late in his life, rather than leaving a great deal of his wealth directly to Duke, he gave a significant amount of it to build a beautiful campus and money to spend so that we get off to a resounding start. But he really put the majority of his wealth in a separate New Jersey trust called the Duke Endowment. And he specified explicitly the purposes for which the funds from the trust were to be spent and identified explicitly the beneficiaries, one of which was Duke, another was Davidson College, but it included Methodist ministers, Methodist orphanages, and so on, and all recipients had to live in the states of North and South Carolina. Now, most philanthropists are very concerned about whether their intentions will be honored after their death by their heirs and founding trustees. It is often said that if Henry Ford were alive today, he'd be horrified at the areas being supported by the Ford Foundation, founded with his wealth and his son Edsel. Now, Mr. Duke was a wise and savvy businessman, and he tried to circumscribe the trustees of the foundation with explicit directions. Now, to this day, these trustees of the endowment, once a year, read out loud the entirety of the founding document. Now, this ceremonial reading is much more than a ceremony. It's a habit and practice by which the trustees as fiduciaries remind themselves of their founders' intentions and their fiduciary duty to carry out those intentions as best they can in significantly different circumstances than the time lived in by Mr. Duke. But slowly and surely over time, however, the trustees have carefully tried to interpret and apply the founders' wishes to ever-changing circumstances. They've even resorted to civil authority and courts to secure legally approved changes in their implementation of the endowment, often noting that a wise and savvy businessman like Mr. Duke would likely agree, were he alive today, with the changes being sought.